What's up, guys? Quickly before I start this video, I'd like to say something. So it's okay to state your opinion down below in the comment section below, and which one you like best. But if you have something to say, like something constructive or informational or something like that, please keep it respectful. Don't be like, "Why you're such a faggot?" You're how could you like third person, or how could you like first person? You're such a faggot. Like, keep it respectful. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to state your opinion, but make sure to be respectful and enjoy the video. What is up, guys? Welcome to a new series on my channel called Head to Head, a series where we compare two kind of topics, or sometimes even games or consoles or anything, and we make them go head to head. I thought I'd start off this series with a pretty big topic that is debated on in the gaming community, and that is first person versus third person. There's fans for both of these kind of genres of view. People like games like Call of Duty and Far Cry, and other people like games like Assassin's Creed and GTA. It's just personal preference. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so I just want to quickly talk about my first-person game and my first third-person game. So it's pretty embarrassing, but my first third-person game was actually Chicken Little. Yes, it was Chicken Little, guys. I'm not too sure if it was an open world game. It was quite a while ago. It was on GameCube. I don't know if any of you guys have played it before. It's I played it quite a bit as a child. You had to beat the missions. It was pretty linear, but it was kind of like you could do like free roam in between the missions, so it was kind of like that. And my first person game was actually a Call of Duty, and it was actually pretty funny because it was a pretty big leap from Chicken Little to Modern Warfare 2, which was my first person game, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was pretty fun. I didn't know much about Call of Duty at the time. I played the Spec Ops for a bit, then I jumped in the multiplayer a little bit. I was so much of a noob, guys, it wasn't even funny. I got up to like level 20 before I like rage quit and never played that game again. So yeah, that's my first third person and first person. I don't really have a favorite between third person and first person. I love them both. They're really close to my heart. That sounded gay, but anyways, I'm a really sucker for a good GTA game, or a good Red Dead game, or even a good Assassin's Creed game. I really love third person, and that sounded gay also. But anyways, I also love first person games. That's Far Cry 3, Dead Island, Battlefield, Call of Duty. Yeah, they're pretty good. As much as a lot of people hate it, there's still a lot of buyers who play it and stuff. So they make a lot of money off those games. They're pretty good. So yeah, I'm a sucker for a really good first-person game. And now we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of both these, kind of views. Okay, so first let's hop into the FPS pros and cons. You get to put yourself inside the shoes of the character. It's almost like you're looking through his eyes. You actually are him. Like, you actually are Jason Brody from Far Cry 3. Like, you actually feel like you're inside of him, controlling him. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I really love about first-person shooters. It's more realistic than third person, because you wouldn't have like an overhead view third person unless you're like a stalker or something. So it's more realistic first person, and then you're more in control. You feel a bit more in control when you're first person. I find personally, this is just personal preference, guys. And again, I like to say that there will be a little bit of controversy with this series. I expected that, but it's just my personal preference. So don't just dislike the video or leave comment hate just because of my personal preference. Okay, so. Also, now let's move on to the cons. You can't really see his face. You can't really see his face, so you can't really feel what he's feeling. Like, you can't see what he's feeling. You don't know what he looks like, kind of, because in most first-person games with cutscenes, you're still looking through his eyes. You don't know what he actually looks like. So it's kind of hard to, you kind of have to imagine what his face looks like sometimes in some games. I don't really like that. I like knowing what he looks like. You know what I mean? So I'm not really a huge fan of this. And most of the first-person games I played, you can't really change your clothes. You know what I mean? You have the same clothes on because you won't be able to see your clothes anyways. So they just keep that feature out, and yeah, they just keep it out because you can't really see your clothes. Okay, now let's move on to third person. Now, there's a couple of pros and cons for third person. So number one is it's easier to look around, you know, get to see what the character looks like, his clothes, his facial expressions, the way he talks when he talks. You get to actually see them in the cutscenes, you know what I mean? I really like third person with cutscenes and a good storyline. You know, I'm not saying first person has bad storyline. I'm just saying the third person is kind of preferred for me when it comes to storyline based. And also, you know, you get to see what the character looks like, yeah, with their clothes and stuff. It's pretty cool because you get to like change their clothes, and I find third-person games are more customizable with their clothes and stuff than first-person. I'm not saying first-person doesn't have enough customizable stuff. I'm just saying I found that third-person has a bit more customizable stuff. And I'm taking Far Cry as an example here, guys, but you know, it's not really in all first-person games, but in Far Cry, you can't have a third-person view of the car you're driving. So, for example, you're driving in a car in Far Cry, you have to see through the first person and look out the windshield and stuff, and I find it kind of harder to drive in first person than third person. So that's kind of one of the pros I have for third person. And now on to the cons. You know, it's more unrealistic, like I mentioned last time. Like, you wouldn't have, you know, someone looking over you unless it's like a stalker or something, or you have eyes that's watching you from above. It's pretty unrealistic. And the last thing is, the aiming is less precise, guys. Like, I don't know, I just find the aiming is more precise in first person than in third person. I find it a bit harder to aim in third person. Like, having a red dot sight or something is way harder to aim with in third person than in first person. You guys have to agree with me on that. You know, it's kind of harder. And maybe, you know, sniping or something, if you have, like, you can only see through the scope a little bit. It's usually not like this, but I've played a couple games where you still have to look through the scope through the third person eye. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but you know, it's pretty annoying. So yeah, aiming is less precise with third person. Okay, guys, that's all I have to talk about for this episode of Head to Head. If you'd like to see any two things go head to head, leave it in the comments below. You know, this versus this. I really like doing these. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Yeah, leave comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoy this series and you want more. And peace out. Have a good one.